Thank you. Thank you very much for being here this day. Today, our webinar about leadership in the 21st century relies on digital knowledge and expertise. While there are many ways to acquire these skills, how best can we apply them to our BPW endeavors? In follow-up to our 8th of December 2021 webinar, we explore additional areas of digital leadership, advances, uses of Zoom, online delivery of professional development, and optimal use of LinkedIn. Our speakers today, Jocelyn Young, is currently the president of BPW Hong Kong and previously held the position of international relations at the club. She is a learning and development professional working as corporate trainer. Tabata Fonseca Maceto is the former young BPW representative and member of BPW Brazil. Her background is in psychology and environment science, and she is a business owner for plant-based medicine with a strong educational component. Tabata recently became a mom. She is now living in nearby Argentina to develop a new market. Before they start, please allow me a minute to remember one of our past international presidents, Tuliki Jusela. She just passed away days before. She was my first mentor, an amazing lady, amazing professional, and one of the most passionate members in BPW. All her life, she dedicated to support women gender issues, especially to young BPWs. I met her when she started in her first period as international president in New Zealand in 1985. Since then, we keep in touch. We walk many, many ways, trying to support as we can BPW International. I would like to keep her memory, her work, her love to everybody in BPW forever. Thank you, Tuliki. Thank you, all of you. Ladies, Tabata and Jocelyn, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Yasmin, for the introduction, and thank you also for the memoir for us to remember those who are remarkable in BPW. So welcome again, everyone, to tonight's webinar. And yeah, thanks for the introduction. My name is Jocelyn, and I'm currently in Hong Kong, as I've just came back from my work. So it's 8 p.m. currently here. So good evening for some of you, good afternoon, and good morning for some of you. So as mentioned by Yasmin, I'm a learning and development professional, and definitely we use Zoom a lot these days, perhaps in work and also in BPW. Like now we are using Zoom. I would like to ask you all, just before I share some of my tips on how to use more advanced effects, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank yourself in terms of your familiarity with the different Zoom functions? 1 being, I'm like a beginner. 10 is like, I'm quite an expert in it. So I will give you 5 seconds, and after 5 seconds, I want everyone to raise your hand, or you could put it in the chat box for those who are not showing your faces. So on a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How well do you rank yourself? Wow, I see everyone is pretty advanced. Like I see like 5 up to like 10, or yeah, wow. So you don't have to attend this webinar anymore. No. For those 10, it's always good to refresh your knowledge. I'm just joking. So for those who are having 5 or 6, I hope that after this webinar, you would have a bit more, you can upgrade to 7 or 8. For those who are 9 already, perhaps it's also a good opportunity for you to see whether some of these tips for you to revisit some of them, or even adding on to what I'm going to share. So feel free to add on perhaps in the chat box for any useful functions that you find me sharing and you want to also add on some of your own. It's always a good opportunity for us to learn and to exchange ideas. Now, you have already used one of the most basic functions just now, which is typing in the chat box. I think this is also something that we have been using for perhaps 2 to 3 years now for the online meetings. The thing is, at the beginning of each online meeting, it's important to set a rule. This is not just for the technical side, but we should set the rule and tell everyone in the room whether we want them to communicate through unmuting their mic. If today I ask all of you, okay, if all of you have any questions, you can unmute your mic. Then probably some of you will be suddenly unmuting your mic, and I will be expecting it. But if I say, okay, so for today, if you have any questions or you have any comments, you please feel free to use the chat box. Then for the speaker, it will be more easier for me to handle the room because I won't be interrupted by like random people unmuting themselves. So this is not really like technical side of it, but like a more practical side. Yes, thanks Dr. Anya. So for here, we'll be using the chat room for now. So setting like a bit of ground rule. So I understand that for some of us for BPW, we have been on Zoom for a long time. And perhaps before I share the advanced, I want to ask some of you, what are the most common functions that you find most useful? Perhaps let me just ask 1 or 2 of you. Perhaps can I have Angela? Hi, Angela. Which function of Zoom do you think is the most useful for you?
The chat boxes I find is the most useful in keeping your audience engaged and having them participate and share their views. And also the use of reactions to make sure that you're able to control the meeting as well in terms of hands up, a question, thumbs up, things like that.
Thank you very much, Angela, for raising up the point on reactions. Now, just to make sure everyone knows how to make a reaction, I would like you to, for those of you who are not sure where the reaction button is, if you can see the panel now on your screen, and there should be a little reaction button with a smiley face. I would like you to all in the upcoming 3 seconds to just give me to select one reaction that you feel represents your most current feeling. Now you actually see that there are some more generic ones, but actually when you click the 3 little dots, you can actually find most of the emojis that you use in your WhatsApp. So you can even use like this one that I'm using, like the shocking face. So you do not have to limit yourself to like the hands up or the heart. So you can use all the different types. Cool. Yeah, I like the one Shupi used. Yeah. Keep it up. Great. So one of the functions that I love using are the reactions, and we can also even use it to check in with people. For example, I can say, okay, so how are you all feeling today? And then we can also, you can use a reaction like an emoji. So now we can all know what everyone is feeling. So it's a good way to check in with people as well. Moving on, I want to share a bit on the visual since we're talking about the reaction. Today, I see some of you are using virtual background, like myself. I'm definitely not on the boat. I use this one because I want to make everyone feel that we are going traveling, exploring. That's why I'm using a more like travel-like background. How many of you have used the virtual filter background? Not background, virtual filter. I see Dr. Ann has raised her hand. So let me just demonstrate like what is the video filter before I talk about like where we can find it. Let me just find a cute one. Hi. So this is one of like a video filter that is in Zoom, and where can you find it? It is similar to where that, so for those of you who know where to find a virtual background, where there is a stop video or start video button, there's a little triangle, there's a little arrow, you click on it, and there's this button which is called choose video filter. I invite you all now. If you don't have the button, it means that probably you do not have the most updated version of Zoom. So you can choose your video filter, and you can just choose like different cute little, kind of filters and to add to the party. So
Where was
party,
where was that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Let me see if I can go back to the bottom left corner of your screen. There should be two buttons, a mute button or like a microphone button and like a video button. It is the arrow next to the video button. So you click on it, there should be like a bunch of like choose virtual background, choose virtual video filter. Yes, oh, I like Judy's one. For Judy's one, the good thing is when you fall asleep, nobody knows. Yeah, so that's a good one. Yeah, Yasmin is doing that as well. Francesca, did you manage to find the virtual filter? Oh yeah, you got the #1 pin. Great. So I personally like this a lot because usually during like 2 hours or 3 hours Zoom meeting, we feel quite bored, and I think this really adds to like fun. Computer version is not okay. Today, do you think I have makeup on or not? Yes, with makeup. No, without makeup. Yeah, a little bit. You can see I drew my eyebrows, but I would like you now to focus on my face. Do you notice what is happening to me? Can you see what is the difference? Rather obvious, right?
Yep.
Yeah, my eyebrows. And how did I make that happen? It is actually in the same function, like when you click onto the video filter, like the same screen, actually there is a part which is called Studio Effects. So I invite you all, now you can click into, again, that button which goes for the video filter. And on the right, and on the bottom right corner, there's a little hyperlink. It's called Studio Effects. There, you can give yourself a mustache. You see, there's the mustache. You can even give yourself a lip color, because now I'm not having any, oh, this looks really ugly. I'm not having any lipstick, so I can just put lip color on. Yeah, so I think this is really good for professional presence, because even if you wake up at like 5 a.m. in the morning for a meeting, BPW meeting, but you want to look like better, okay, I better change it to like a more normal color for the eyebrow. Okay, so you can change it like a color that suits your face color. This looks a bit quite strange. I don't So then you do not have to do any makeup, but you can look good and professional online. Isn't this great? Yeah, so I think this is something that helps us a lot, just to be looking good and professional. Now I've talked a lot about these like fun and cool elements, but some of you may be looking for some more professional elements. I see most of you are like in the 5+ range, so I assume, is it everyone knows how to use the breakout room? So everyone knows or have been into a breakout room, I believe. So for this, other than the breakout room, I just want to test everyone's ability. Can anyone tell me how you can actually achieve this by just seemingly being like a weather broadcaster? Can anyone tell me how we can do this? Actually, it's rather simple, because today is called advanced function, right? So when we share our screen, so there's a green button, so we click share screen. When you click on the share screen button, usually we just click on like sharing screen, like or share like a Word file, simple enough. But actually on top part, there's something called advanced. So there's a basic function, and when you click on the advanced button, there's this PowerPoint as a virtual background. So there should be this button which is called PowerPoint as a virtual background. And when I click on it, I become like a weather broadcaster. That's how I'm achieving it. Let me just stop sharing my screen. So this is my part on sharing some, I would say today, this is not like a super conventional type of advanced Zoom settings. I'm sure that there are I'm sure that most of you have experienced function like breakout room, annotation, just drawing. But today, the ones that I've introduced, I believe they're the more newer functions and the more cooler ones that we can add to our meetings to make them more interesting. Of course, I will now pass the time to Tabata on how to deliver our professional seminars online. So thank you I'll see you after Tabata session again.
So I believe my part is not that fun and practical, but I hope to share my experience in the field where I work now, totally online in another country, different than when I started my company, and how we can apply this same energy for digital tools in our BPW's company. So good morning, good afternoon, and good night, depending where you are. My experience in the field of psychology and essential oils education was coming from an experience mostly face-to-face contact. And yeah, I had to put my makeup on. So I have a lot of different things that I do now when I work on internet. So I know that sometimes we don't start the digital process because we have no control of who is watching me. What if they don't like my content? What if they share my content on internet? Will this be recorded? We sometimes are afraid of the judgment, and because we have no control, there's a lot of people here in this room that doesn't have their cameras on. And when you're talking to someone face to face, you can see their expression. You can see if they are liking or not, and you can slightly changing a few things for make people like a little bit more. So my strategies as a company and teamwork, meetings, classes and trainings were all in person. And I traveled a lot. I wasn't almost like a week of my month at home. But when I decided to migrate to the digital format, people accept it very well. And this new model brought exponential results to my business itself. So sometimes we think, we won't make this meeting online because people like to be together, and we'll have no attendance. But look at this meeting. We are in different parts of the world, and we could not have this moment if it wasn't for the digital tools. So when we use this with knowledge, and now that we can go and be together again, when we mix these events with online events and digital events, we can have something amazing in our clubs. So when I started to migrate to the digital process, I simply saw the need because my company was growing in the country and abroad. So I started even working without knowing. I'm not a 10 on Zoom. I just learned a lot of things with Jocelyn. So I think that is a really, really important thing. When we are talking about internet, we don't have to be experts. But I believe that when we start, we will learn through the path, and we will start to connect with people and learn a little bit more. And for our life clubs, our BPW clubs, we just have to start because we are in a digital world. And if we think about training future leaders of BPW, we have to go where these leaders are right now. And that place is internet, is Zoom, is Instagram, and other platforms, because we can have more meetings in the same day. So sometimes we are working on internet, and if you invite someone to come and just check this meeting, they can come and they can learn without going far distance. So we often want to take all possible courses, buy the most expensive technological tools, and then start. Today, we live in a world of very fast feedback. And what we need is to simply start and adjust according to the feedback we receive. We can keep improving. We always have something to improve. But that shouldn't stop us to start nurturing and sharing quality content with our BPW clubs. So first thing, you may think that the trainings and events on the internet will be different, but no, you need an agenda. When we have a specific day, a specific time, people will start to make place on their agendas to hear us, to create a habit of, oh, every Sunday, every Monday, I will be there at 8 o'clock. Every Monday, I know sometimes I won't be able to be there, but I know that every Monday I have a meeting on BPW talking about something interesting at 8 o'clock. And this will be like a mark in your brain, like every day, every hour, and you put a specific date and a specific hour, because we have many other events on the internet and it's hard to decide which one will be part. But if you have something that is constant, probably your public will be more constant too. I decided in my work which days I would feed Instagram with lives, feed with content that brings interest in new associates, for example, and Zoom days to teach our members how to explore. So these are different events, but on internet. One, you're gonna just share content. People can go and can see whenever they are working on cell phone or something like this. The other one, they have to stop and watch like a live. And the other one on Zoom, they have to prepare with a pen and pencil and just to prepare to be there and to watch and to be with you like a training. So there are different ways of watching and learning from internet, and we can use this in our BPW too, because you can share content on Instagram, you can share a quote or something from our leaders, and just make people curious to come and to learn a little bit more in a Zoom meeting. So you can work in different places. Sometimes we talk about BPW so certain of what it is, but thinking about online trainings and online content, you have new people coming all the time. You have new people watching, you have experienced people watching, and we always can use this space to bring content, but also to explain the purpose of this specific event, not simply thinking that everyone already knows. So sometimes we have the candle events or we have a Women's Day, and we can explain what is our purpose there, because on internet, like I can't see everyone here, but I can see that probably there's someone that it's new. And I know that Dr. N, for example, she is in BPW for a longer time than me, but we could always explain what is the purpose, because we have different publics that we're not seeing from the other side of the board. So which days of the week I would do online training through the Zoom for the company representatives, which day I would feed my company, which days I would make something new for bringing more people, and which days I would give online courses on my website for my customers to know more and more how to use my products, right? But thinking about our clubs, we could have lives, online trainings about the same, learn more and more how to use BPW to grow our business, to learn more, to leave a mark in this world, to do more network, to meet more people. So just to close and summarize, you can separate your digital tasks into specific days and hours of the week. On the internet, rarely will anyone be charging for your content. Even in BPW, most of our events are for free. But when we deliver content, we keep our members club closer and close. And we need to have this initiative. Sometimes we think, oh, but it's more the same. They already here. They already know this quote. They already read this book. But in psychology, when you see something, more and more and more becomes familiar. And on internet, it's easier to do that than in presential, in face-to-face meetings. So if we have a lot of, every day we can post a story about on Instagram about our book, or a yellow story, just to remember, hey, you were part of BPW, you have to be in our next meeting. So if these people that are in the other side, they keep seeing and seeing and seeing, they will be familiar with BPW. And when has one event presential, they will be, oh, I have to be there because I'm part of it. So it's that quote, I don't know how to speak in English, but it's in Portuguese, is if you're not seeing, you're not remembered. So we can use that on our favor in internet. As much as we can show the BPW to everyone will be familiar and familiar and familiar. And sometimes those people that aren't members of our clubs, they someday will be, oh, I saw so much, I know so much about this company, this club that I want to be part. I feel I'm part of it, even without being there. And they will come to our Zoom meetings. So why do I encourage that? Because since the beginning of the pandemic, my company has grown by 28%. And this started after 100% technological use for training classes and sales. After that, I started weekly lives on Instagram in our club in BPW, in Young BPW in Brazil. And we had the opportunity to know so many members of different cities, different areas, bring new people that was watching us and that they weren't from our club. And I received so many feedbacks. Remember the feedbacks? We change a few things, but we keep doing. If I try to do these trainings between members without the internet, I would have to invest much more time, much more money, and much more traveling again. So probably what will happen in the next 6 or 12 months, doesn't matter if the pandemic's here or not anymore. As much as people say it will pass, this digital trend, especially in business, will not pass. And I believe it will get more and more stronger. So we need to add this practice to our BPW clubs as soon as possible. An example is Albert Einstein Hospital, one of the best hospitals in Brazil. It started in the telemedicine and it is now already a reference. When did we imagine medical appointments online? Things that were very personal, face-to-face, in person, are migrating online. And I believe will stay because it's cheaper, it's faster, and it's possible. We are part of an international organization. Imagine if we use this technology in our groups, in our favor. We could have international talks in our common meetings. We could bring faster information. We could share about our events to more people at the same time than we could possibly do if we had to talk one by one and to bring one woman by one to our clubs. And our growth can be exponential. And when I was preparing this talk and thinking about digital leadership, I thought, I am in BPW because I met women that were for me inspiration. I had to travel to Ecuador, to another country, to a BPW meeting, to listen and to talk to these amazing women, to get to know their story. And at that moment, when I heard they saying what BPW meant, what they had to do to be there, I thought, I want this in my life. I want this purpose. I want to be like them. If we use digital tools, digital leadership inside of our clubs, we can be inspiration. We can share our stories to many other women, young or experienced ones. We can spread stories, spread goals, spread events. And through the digital, there is no limit to achieve many other girls like me. They don't have to travel. They don't have to spend a lot of money. They don't have to drive, just to click and listen and watch with no cost. And like me, they can maybe be inspired hearing BPW women talking for the first time. Well, I believe if we provided this opportunity online, our clubs for sure will have more people that are looking for some club to be part, to be familiar. But right now, they think it's expensive. They think they have to go there, or maybe they don't know us. And I know here in this room, there's a lot of inspiration. There's a lot of inspiration. But sometimes we just have to put your story on the internet, on a content like this. And maybe many other Tabatas will be in BPW in a few months. So that's what I had in mind.
Thank you, Tabata. I think your session just so smoothly right onto to transit into my this third session of today, which is exactly you mentioned on, when people repeatedly see something on social media or on digital world, then it will transfer their knowledge. It will make them and transfer them into perhaps membership. They will come, that's why they're advertisements. And now for this part, as some of you may know, it's going to be about the specific tool. It's called LinkedIn. The first thing, before I dive into any functions of LinkedIn, I want to ask, how many of you have a LinkedIn account? If yes, raise your hand, or you can type yes in the chat box for those who do not have their cameras. So most of you, I see yes. You can also, just like Diana, raise your virtual hand. That's also okay. That's a very good function for us to see people without their camera. So it seems that most of us have their LinkedIn already. So today is going to be more on optimizing the users of LinkedIn. So just now at the beginning, I asked you how familiar were you with Zoom. Many of you say it was like from 5 to like 10. What about LinkedIn? Again, I would like to do this poll again. If it's like 1 to 10, 1 being like, I just have a profile on LinkedIn, that's it. I don't even have a photo, just my name, that's it. Nobody even know who I am. I just click on it. That's like 1. 10 is like, I got a super good personal brand on LinkedIn. Even if Jocelyn shares the screen of my profile now, I am totally confident. Okay, wow, we got a range of people. So we got 1 to 8, 7, so like 1. Okay, so we have a variety of people on our, so I see how many, I have LinkedIn, but I have no idea what I'm doing with it. Exactly how, well, there are many people out there who have a LinkedIn account, but do not how to know. So this is a very common issue. Oh, Mariella, you're 9, so I expect you to contribute like a little bit during our sharing. So people always say, either you do not have a LinkedIn account, or you have a good, well-branded, comprehensive LinkedIn account. Because if you manage to go and search for example, if you go and search for me on LinkedIn or on Google, actually the first result for my name, Jocelyn Young, is my LinkedIn account. And when you click in it, you just see, you do not see a photo, you just see my name and nothing else. That's even worse than not having a LinkedIn account. So for the ones in this chat today, I hope that after this short session, you at least go to at least 3 to 4. You know how to optimize your profile a little bit and to use it for BPW's use. In order to illustrate that, I will share my screen. So you can see this is my LinkedIn profile. Yes, I'm a premium account, so there is something a little bit different. So have your photo and to make use of your background photo. So for me, I'm a training professional, so that's why in my background photo, I will be using like me in a training setting. Something that you can use very good for BPW or your own personal brand. Let me use the annotate function so you can actually, I mean like the spotlight function. Here, there's my name. And the good thing is you can even add this, like how to pronounce your name. So you can, when you click on it, you can actually listen to my voice and it will say Jocelyn Young. So even people who do not know you, they can know how to pronounce your name, especially for like non-traditional like English names. So this is quite useful. And then moving on for these, for this is like your personal branding tags. For myself, I think it's quite useful. L&D professional, I'm a diversity and inclusion advocate. So very my heart is why I'm in BPW, because I think diversity and inclusion is very important as well. So that's why people get attracted to my profile. And if you want to even put like W president, great. You can also put that in your tagline as well. Just as long as you find that good, useful to your personal branding, then you can put it here. Moving down, let me show you some things first. Now you can see there's me in experience. Definitely put your BPW experience here in your profile. Even if for some of you, you may not want to put it in your official like working profile, like your actual resume, then you can put it here. This part, volunteering. I prefer to put it in the professional, the professional part because I find it quite useful. as a professional setting, sometimes people do message me and say that, oh, like, what are you doing? And it also ranks higher for the SEO. SEO means search engine optimization. So if I search like women or like women association, then if your keywords are in this part, it's easier to search for you. So if you want other people to search for you in your local area for women's association, it's better to put it here in the former experience. But for some of you are Exco members or your new members who may not want to put it here, then you can encourage them also to put it in the volunteer section. So that's a little tip from me. And then moving on, I would like to just highlight this particular part. It's called featured. Not many people actually make use of this part, which is called featured post. So when you click into my profile, to be honest, you will be able to see this featured post, which are posts that I want to highlight to others. So you can see these posts have more likes and more views as well, and also content that I want to highlight to other people. For example, if you have a good BPW event and you have posted it on LinkedIn, you can also put a featured post. How can we do that? Let me just find a post of my own. Then I do demonstrate. Okay, so before I can demonstrate how to make it a post, I suggest for those who are not yet active on LinkedIn, other than brushing up your basic profile, or that's me, your basic profile, I suggest you to think of regularly publishing on LinkedIn. It will help your personal brand and also help your brand for BPW. I will talk about the company page later. So do you have, so this is my post, and on this right-hand corner, you can click on it, and you can actually do many things. Feature on top of the profile. If I want everyone to click onto my profile and see this, then I can feature it on top. For other people, if you see other BPW members, or you see other, like if you see my post and you find it really inspiring, you can also save my post and for later reading. You can also copy the link to this post, and you can share this LinkedIn post to your BPW friends if you find this post really inspiring and great. So there are also other functions that you can use for posting. But for those who have not even got one post on their LinkedIn profile, I would challenge you, jump out of your comfort zone, try at least first building up your profile, adding your photo, adding basic information. You can add me as well on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and then you can set a target for yourself. When will you be posting your next post? Is it this weekend? Is it next Monday? Tell yourself, give your target a post, and just push it out. Just say, oh, hi, everyone else. This is my first post on LinkedIn, like da-da-da-da-da. And you'll be amazed how many people will be supporting you, because this network is very encouraging. And there's a tip. Most of the posts, if you add a photo, usually people get more attention. So as Tabata was saying, if you got an event, then you can always put some sharing. So I always have not only a photo, but also like any kind of graphic. Now today we're talking about BPW, right? So not only about myself. So what else can we do? It's a very brief webinar, so I can't go into like all the detailed uses. If you really want to go into advanced uses of LinkedIn, we actually have another webinar pre-recorded on YouTube. You can always go on there and take a look. But today, as you see, for those of the BPW, how many BPW already have a LinkedIn page on their own? Ta-da! You can, yes, I see some hands. For those who have not got a BPW page, the first thing that you should do after this webinar is to create a LinkedIn page for your BPW organization or a federation or your club. So click on it. I am one of the managers, the admins of this page. So that's why the interface will be a bit different from what other people see. So this is us, BPW Hong Kong. Same, the cover photo is quite important. So if you got your logo, and for the background, you want to put something related to your country, your city, or just anything. So when people click into it, they see, Hong Kong, nice scenery, and they get attracted. Like for example, we have this event which is called we also publish, we share this event on our LinkedIn, and we add some emojis. And the good thing is that this is an online training similar to what Tabata has mentioned. So these two trainers, they're my friends. They're based in Hong Kong. The good thing is we can tag them like this, so you can actually see their profile. And it is a very good branding tool, is that we can tag each other, and we can also tag perhaps some other pro bono trainers who are helping us, or even trainers inside BPW. So it helps us to promote each other. So when you create a post on your BPW page and you're inviting an external guest, always you can ask them, is it okay for us to tag you? If yes, then you can just putting an @ sign and then tagging them in your post. You can also add some hashtags like this. Okay, this is a typo, very wrong example. It should be women. Somehow somebody was just mistyped, like health, wellness, events, BPW, BPW. And when people, and for these hashtags, when people follow wellness, then they may see this event popping up in their newsfeed. So this is one thing that we can try to do in terms of your BPW page. There's also another function called group, which is that you can invite people in your group. But I would say page is a better function for you to create presence online. And also, if you are using Facebook page or Instagram account, this is exactly the similar type, but like a more professional presence. Let me see. Okay, one more function that I would like to introduce if you're using a page is here, grow your followers. Invite connections. So we 100 out of 100 credits available. This is totally free of charge. This page is, you do not have to pay anything. You just have to click invite connections. For example, I click on it. And I can invite, I can even filter some of my friends, which I think, they should be interested, or they may seem interested in BPW Hong Kong. So I will click on them, and then I will invite. And then they will receive a notification, and they will say, Jocelyn has invited you to follow BPW Hong Kong. And usually, if you're good friends with that person, they usually follow, and you get one more follower, and you also raise the awareness of other people knowing BPW. Very short introduction on the use of LinkedIn for a bit of personal branding, as well as the use of a BPW page, for enhancing your awareness online. So I guess it is time for us to open the floor.
Okay, Jocelyn, thank you so much. If you'll just take it out of screen share. So thank you to both of our speakers for a wonderful, informative, and full webinar today. There's always much more to say. There are more things I can think of in all of these categories that I want to hear more about. So maybe we need Digital Leadership 3. Who knows? Stay tuned. We have not so long, because we had long and rich presentations. And we keep this to an hour. So we really only have 5 minutes. So if you have a pressing question you'd like to present, we probably can't go into another whole category of another whole set of functions. But if you have a question about anything that's been presented, then please use that under the reactions that was discussed below. Use that raised hand function, which will also put you in the queue. Dr. Yasmin.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this very, very, very interesting webinar. I have a lot of questions, but the time is very short. So I want to bring Tabata says that, about the importance to have this training sessions and be in touch. Sometimes it is not possible. So as you can see, sometimes in our webinars, we have few members or few people in the room, but we have a YouTube channel where you can find more than 50, I think now it's 55 videos that you can use in your meetings for training your members. There is a lot of information about BPW. So I think that we and I, since the beginning, thought that that is the tool that we need in BPW to maintain our members fully informed about what means BPW. And not only about BPW, like this webinar, today's webinar, how to do many things that improve our skills in BPW and in our professional and day-by-day life. So thank you very much.
Maybe so, yes. Thank you, Dr. Yasmin. I want to just mention also, I just put the link to our YouTube channel in the chat. And on there, we've also created a playlist of videos separate from our own leadership webinar series. And that was called BPW Goes Digital. And that's a project I did with Jocelyn and with Tabitha and with about 25 other young BPWs about a year and a half ago. And Nilima was the co-facilitator with me. So Jocelyn made reference to a video on LinkedIn and a video on Zoom. And Tabitha also has a video there on her topic of professional development delivered online. So each of those is at least 30 minutes. You can find out much more from those videos. Today is a teaser. And okay, we don't really have time except for maybe one more question or comment if anybody has. Otherwise, we will bring our session to a close. And you'll digest all of this information.
Right. Well, I'm technically challenged, and this was so great because I feel so much more comfortable on Zoom now. So I want to thank both of you for these wonderful presentations.
Thanks, Francesca. So with that, we will have to bring this to a close today. We want to give a great thanks to our two speakers, Jocelyn Jung, President Jocelyn Jung of my club in Hong Kong, and Tabitha Mazzetto, and Dr. Yasmin. As always, I thank you as co-facilitator of this series. And a great thanks to each of you and those who had to leave by now who joined us in the room today. We always appreciate our live audience. Okay, lovely day, evening, tomorrow to all of you, and we hope to see you again here next month.
Thanks,
Bye for now.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye, Luna.